David, you guys are partners for the Trusted Land Awards, and BeKnown work with a lot of firms who are nominated for awards, that win fantastic awards. We've got 39 property development companies and professionals who are nominated. We're going to have 10 winners. There's a lot of things to shout about, a lot of great noise to make about being nominated or receiving an award. But I think one of the things that everyone wants to know is how can you use that opportunity to talk about your company, but not make it just seem like you're boasting about being recognized? How can you sort of use that opportunity in a classy way?
I think the first thing is actually nothing wrong with being proud. There's you've been nominated for an award or you've won an award. It's something to be proud of, and if you see people shouting about it all the time, the key, as you said, is not to boast or not to be rubbing it in people's faces. There are other people that will be nominated alongside you in the same category. Key is actually congratulate people as well. So whilst announcing yourself and whilst saying how proud you are to have won to have been nominated yourself, actually congratulate the other people you're up against. It goes down nicely. It makes you look like you're kind of a decent person whilst doing it. And then it's about actually how do you utilize the fact that you've been nominated for an award or you've won an award. And the key to that is actually, I think awards are a funny one because there are lots of awards out there, and winning an award gives you real credibility. It adds some authenticity to you when you're looking at partners that you can work on land with, or whether it is a consumer award that you're looking at to try and kind of entice the buyers with. That element of credibility. Obviously, in this instance, it's about showing that you're a developer that can be trusted to be someone to work with, that really knows what you're doing. You've got a good track record. And it's important to get that across and utilize that in everything you're doing. Because there are lots of them out there, and this isn't necessarily a negative thing, but lots of publications do their own awards as well. So you'll find that a lot of people immediately, as soon as they've won an award or been nominated, they want to write to their trade magazine or this or that. The reality is, it's not necessarily a newsworthy thing for traditional news. It's newsworthy for yourself as a business. And just because a Property Week or an Estate Gazette or a Co-Star or a house builder or a show house aren't going to run your news story doesn't mean that you haven't got your own platforms pushing things out. So actually use it on social media a lot. Use it on LinkedIn. Look at actually how you can do it. If you've been nominated for specific things, actually look at the details of what you've been nominated for. Write a couple of posts for LinkedIn about why you've been nominated, what you're doing. Keep highlighting all the different things that you're good at, and use your own platforms talking about.
And David, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's a key point. I think actually, as you were talking, I was sort of thinking about the posts that I've seen from various people, and you can see an application form, an award-winning company or finalist in XYZ. But I think actually that's a key point. A lot of people don't mention why or what was the reason they were recognized as. Just we've been a finalist, and that almost feels like sometimes it's too much to kind of say, and it was because of this. Have you seen any good examples, or can you sort of talk through your approach as a sort of a press partner, in terms of how you get to really kind of highlight this is why we've been nominated or won the award?
So we've as a company, we've worked with lots of property businesses and entered awards for them, written their own award entries, and then handled their kind of communications once they've been nominated or once they've won. With lots of, as I said, it's about looking at what the award's for and what are the different content angles you can take out of it. So from a press perspective, actually, where there's value is when you're pitching a story idea to the journalist, when you've got some thought leadership topics that you can do that are relevant to the award that you've been entered for. Actually having the ability, just when you're pitching to the journalist, to say, and we won this award or we were nominated for this award, just gives a journalist a bit more security about why they should actually accept something from you as a thought leadership piece. But then in terms of it's about thinking about maybe 3, 4, 5 different strands of content that you can pull out on the specific elements of the award, and just do short posts for each one. It might be that you do one post announcing that you've been shortlisted as a nominee or you've been nominated. It might be one post after that about a particular element of the nomination, a particular element of what you're good at, why you've been nominated, why it's important to you. Maybe even use it as an opportunity to talk about 1 or 2 of your own projects as well. Highlight some of the work you've done on the developments you've been doing. If you're the planning consultant, highlight the planning work that you've been doing and what's led you down that process. Contradicting what I said before about kind of the press element, one thing that can work quite nicely is just writing a very short news announcement that can be posted to your website, your news section of your website, your blog section of your website, can be posted on your company page on LinkedIn and your own personal profile on LinkedIn, but then also can be put out maybe over some of the I have a love-hate relationship with this as a PR person, but there are a lot of press release kind of wire websites out there that are very much search engine optimization focused. So they're not necessarily going to get you in the traditional news outlets, but they will get your own announcement you're writing out on the web, on Google, and will just improve from the SEO perspective. It's worth doing a 3-4 paragraph announcement that can just be sent out that way as well. It's all just different ways of highlighting what you've been doing and building your profile.
No, I fully understand as well. I suppose it's just for the audience to try and start picturing almost like a strategy, but obviously that's where firms like yourself exist, not as a plug, but just simply to make the most of getting these nominations and being a finalist. And just a short question. We've got Tom Bloxham, who is the founder of Urban Splash, that have won over 325 awards, I think, since he's launched the company. They're big focus on awards. Can you win too many awards? Do people stop listening at a certain point?
I don't think you can. I think as long as you've got a good reason for entering them, it's worth doing. It's one of those. It's also one of those things that sometimes you want to enter an award and win an award because you don't want your competitor to get it. You know that someone you're competing against is going to get something. Therefore, you want to be getting.
And they might get the airtime.
It's one-upmanship sometimes. It's it adds to your credibility, whatever the awards. It just shows that there's something about you that, as I said, builds that trust, and that's what it's about. It's building trust and building profile. And if you can do those 2 things, then you can use that. You can use that to then drive yourself forward to achieve kind of, I guess, any of your other business objectives as well.
Wonderful, David. Thanks very much for sharing with us. Much appreciated. Cheers.